Hey guys, what's up? In this video I'm going to discuss about rule number 8, action to avoid collision. So any action to avoid collision shall be taken in accordance with the rules of this part and shall, if the circumstances of the case admit, be positive, made in ample time, and with due regard to observance of good seamanship. Any alteration of course and or speed to avoid collision shall, if the circumstances of the case admit, be large enough to be apparent to another vessel by observing visually by radar. A succession of small alteration of course and or speed should be avoided. Any alteration of course or speed to avoid collision shall, if the circumstances of the case admit, be large enough to another vessel observing visually by radar. Observing visually or by radar. The succession of small alteration of course and or speed should be avoided. If there is sufficient sea room. So if there is sufficient sea room, alteration of course alone may be the most effective action to avoid close quarter situation, provided that it is made in ample time or it is made in good time, is substantial and does not result in another close quarter situation. Action to avoid collision with another vessel shall be such as to result in passing a safe distance. So the effectiveness of the action shall be carefully checked until the vessel is finally passed and clear. If necessary to avoid collision or allow more time to assess the situation, a vessel shall slacken her speed or take all her way off by stopping or reversing her means of propulsion. This is part E. Then in part F, we have a vessel which by any of these rules is required not to impede the passage or safe passage of another vessel shall, when required by the circumstances of the case, take early action to allow sufficient sea room for the safe passage of other vessel. A vessel required not to impede the passage or safe passage of another vessel is not relieved of this obligation if approaching the other vessel so as to involve risk of collision, and shall, when taking action, have full regard to action which may be required by the rule of this part. A vessel, the passage of which is not to be impeded, remains fully obliged to comply with the rules of this part when the two vessels are approaching one another so as to involve risk of collision. So this much is important in this topic and hope you have liked it. Thank you.